Welcome back. Today we're going to be building a wall. This is one of the first major projects that we're doing in our new home that we recently moved into. We have this bonus space that I'm in right now. It's off of our main living area and dining room. And it's kind of awkward because it's just one big open space to the other rooms. It doesn't have any kind of dividing wall. I feel like when they built this house, there should have been a wall installed right where I'm standing, but that is not the case. So we are going to build an interior wall. And Brendan and I have never built a wall before. We have no experience building walls, but we have done a lot of other DIY projects. So we think that we can tackle it, and we are going to be sharing our experience along the way. One of the reasons we want to build a wall, besides having this random open space, is to have a closed-in area for an office, as well as a potential guest room or play area for our kids. So behind me, you can see that we're using this wall for our office space, and that's going to be moved over to the side with some pretty built-ins. We actually have to build two walls for this space. We're going to do a little mini wall right here to close this side off, and then we'll do the big wall right here. With this mini wall though, I want to let as much light in as possible from these windows into our living room still, so we're going to build a little interior window opening, kind of like a transom window, but it'll be bigger and down this way. The very first step is just going to be removing this casing off of the opening right here, and then we are going to take our floor out and be really careful because we want to try to reuse the pieces again. So let's get started. After our casing and molding was removed, Brandon began taking up our new laminate flooring. I labeled the board with painter's tape in hopes that we could reuse them since the boards are fairly new and they're cut perfectly to size, but several of the tongue and groove connecting edges broke in the process since they are made out of MDF. So we're only going to be able to reuse a couple of the full boards. Brandon is using our Dremel tool to cut the molding where we are installing the wall. We discovered what we think is some termite damage on this floor molding. We're hoping that it's old. We just had a termite inspection last year when we bought the house and they didn't find anything. But now we need to make sure that our house doesn't have a termite problem and that our new wall isn't going to have termite problems too. Good morning. We spent yesterday just figuring out how to build our little wall with the window. It's a pretty unique wall since it has an interior window, and we also had to figure out how the molding and drywall and the trim for the window was all going to be connected with the stud and our new big wall. Today we're going to be building our big wall. This is our first time framing out a wall and building a wall. So I watched a bunch of different videos on YouTube to try to figure out the best way to do it, and I came across one really good video by This Old House, which I will link below, and I'm going to pretty much follow their method for how we're going to build this wall, but I'm going to add some special features to it to take into account for what we'll be doing on this wall with some built-ins and shelving. So I want to add in additional support with the wall. We have a light switch on this wall where the wall is going, which is going to need to be moved before we can install the wall, and Brandon's dad, Steven, is here to help us do that. He is really good with all that electric kind of stuff, so he is going to help us move that so we can install our wall right where the light switch is. Okay, so to get the vertical stud height, I'm just going to step on these boards and measure. I'm measuring at each end of our wall and in the middle. It turns out that our walls are not totally square, and there is a ½ difference of our ceiling height from one end to the other, which is definitely going to complicate things. The wall studs are installed every 16 inches on center between the top and bottom 2x4 boards, which are called the top and bottom plates. So I'm marking on these top and bottom plates for the vertical stud installation every 16 inches. A fun fact that I discovered is that every 16 inches on my tape measure, the number is highlighted red. So that really helped to make figuring out the math on this process much easier. Now it's time to cut our vertical studs. While we do that, Steven is going to try to consolidate our 4-way light switch down to a 1-way switch. We don't even use most of these switches, which are in the way of where we want to install the wall. It's time to put this wall together. Obviously, if we had a framing nailer, we could easily attach all of the boards quickly, but we don't, so I'm using our impact driver and self-tapping screws instead. Also, to keep things square while screwing the boards together, I'm using a scrap 2x4 and clamps to hold everything in place. So we have assembled the wall in our dining room area, which was the only space nearby big enough. We only put 3 of the vertical studs in to start with because they are different heights. So we want to test out the wall first before we put all the studs in to make sure it's going to fit and that our measurements were precise. Brandon and I are going to tilt the wall to put it through this archway here and get it into the right spot and make sure it fits. And then we will add the rest of our studs in if everything was measured correctly. To build it in place. But let's see if we can at least get it in if we turn it this way and put it in like this way and swing it that way. Okay, so we might have to bring it down, turn it this way, swing that way. Because it has to go in this way.
Yeah, if we can get like that ended first, then we can push this ended. Okay, so we just went in the wrong end. We had it in. The first way was fine.
But we couldn't, the flooring was in the way.
What flooring? We just need to start hammering it. Just need to get the hammer out.
Another idea is we could do 2 sections.
That's true.
We ran into a few issues. Because our house is already constructed and we have walls up in place with drywall and flooring and everything, it's not that easy to just put our wall into place like you would as if you were building a new house or you didn't have any other walls up. When we figured this out, that we were going to end up causing more damage to our drywall than we wanted to, trying to force our large wall into place, I came up with the idea to construct our wall in 2 smaller sections. So we're going to finish building those 2 walls and then we can put them in place. For our one wall that's close to our outlet though, we're going to leave the end vertical stud off because we need to still be able to get to the electric to finish that up as well as do a drywall repair over there. It's much easier to handle this wall in smaller sections. We're going to snap our chalk line to make sure everything is level.
Square.
Or I mean square. Yeah.
So I never heard of this thing before, but it's called a plumb bob. It's just a heavy metal piece with a pointed end. So it's going to be able to tell you on the ceiling where you can use it as a reference point. So when you put the wall up, you want to line that up with that reference point, and then on the ground where we did the chalk line, and then that way it'll be nice and square and you'll have a straight wall that's not too crooked, hopefully.
It's time to move these walls into place and install them. We are starting with the smaller wall first. The plumb bob was annoying to use, so we actually ended up measuring from the parallel wall again to ensure our wall would be installed straight and at the same location at the top and bottom. For installing the floor into a concrete slab, it would be easiest to use a nailer that can nail into concrete, but we don't own that kind of tool, and I wasn't about to buy one for just this one project. We're using a masonry drill bit instead to pre-drill holes for these concrete screws called Tapcon screws. We pre-drilled holes through the bottom stud and part of the concrete floor. Our drill bit was only 4.5 inches long though, so we ended up having to move our wall out of place to finish pre-drilling a deep enough hole. Then we had to move the wall frame back into place to then add the Tapcon screws. This is definitely annoying. We should have bought the 5.5 inch size drill bit so we wouldn't have had to move the wall at all. It was definitely a lesson learned if we ever build a wall again and need to drill into concrete. We ran into another issue when we went to secure our wall to our ceiling joist that we had previously marked with our stud finder. We just drilled through the ceiling to just make sure that our stud finder was correct where these joists were, but we were just hitting drywall. Like, our stud finder didn't work properly, and it turns out that our studs don't actually run perpendicular to the wall. So we were really nervous because if we can't secure the wall to the ceiling joist, then it's just not secure. One of my marks that the stud finder did pick up, we found was actually a joist, and it turns out that they are actually running parallel to our wall, and by some amazing chance, I don't know how this worked out, one of the parallel ceiling joists actually runs directly above our wall. I think maybe because like we lined things up with our electric, maybe that's how this all worked out by some amazing chance. So this is just incredible, and it's a huge relief. I don't know what we would have done if that didn't all work out. When Brandon originally went up in the attic, he couldn't even see the ceiling joist when we wanted to check because there was just so much insulation. But anyway, it all worked out, so now we can secure it to the ceiling. Another lesson learned with this project is to be 100% sure which way the ceiling joists run before starting. Well, we have a wall. I'm super excited about this. I mean, I can't believe it. We could print this out right now and we'd have a partitioned wall. It's incredible. I can't wait to do the other wall. So we're gonna go install that and we're gonna connect them together so they're super secure. And our framing for our wall for our office will be all finished. I just can't get over it. We did it! We built a wall! I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but I'm just so amazed with ourselves. I mean, it's super sturdy, and we never built a wall before we started this project, but we actually built two walls. We built the partition wall, and we built this huge, ginormous wall, and I'm so impressed with us. I mean, not impressed. I'm just so happy. We ended up hiring an electrician to move our light switch since it was a bit complicated. Then we added in our last vertical stud with pocket holes to finish off our wall frame. Anyways, the next step will be to finish the wall off, and we're actually not going to be doing drywall. So I'll explain in the next video what we will be doing. So make sure to follow along so you don't miss any more of these fun DIY projects with finishing our office wall and finishing our office makeover. Thank you so much for watching.